The Cascadia Cup buzz lingers on, Julian de Guzman sounds off on his old team, and Thierry Henry's Olympico is the talk of the soccer world, next on The Daily. Hey everyone, welcome to The Daily. Greg Lawless alongside Andrew Wiebe, and we are still buzzing after Saturday's match between Portland and Seattle in the Cascadia Cup. 1-1, Fredy Montero with a stunner for Seattle to put them up, and then Rodney Wallace getting the equalizer late in the second half and setting Geldwen afire with all the noise and joy from that one. What are your thoughts on the game?
Well, I think it's a great game, one that was an amazing advertisement for MLS, and you've got to be happy it's on NBC, but if you're a Portland Timbers fan, you've got to be a little bit disappointed. Bright DK hitting that post late on. You thought you were going to take the Cascadia Cup then. Right now it's still up in the air. Seattle able to take that one home, and I know that was something the Timbers fans did not want to happen, but a great game sets up a really good run for the rest of the season. Seattle, they're focused on the playoffs. Portland still got to grab that Cascadia Cup as we go on.
Well, Seattle coach Sigi Schmid actually came out and said, look, this was their biggest game. This was their MLS Cup, whereas Seattle are actually playing for the actual MLS Cup. So a good result probably for Portland in their confidence. For Seattle, not too bad. You go down to your rival, you get the draw. Most likely the Cascadia Cup will be decided when the two teams meet again next month up in Seattle. Well, the third team in the Cascadia Cup, the Vancouver Whitecaps, they're seeing their season start to slip away as they fell to another loss, this time down in Dallas, a 1-0 loss on a 96th minute winner from Julian de Guzman. But Andrew, the news coming out of this one really had nothing to do with Vancouver. It was all about de Guzman's comments about his former coach, Paul Mariner, up in Toronto.
Yeah, he really fired off after this one. Gave us some details that I don't think many people knew and are kind of going to put Mariner out there. He said, you know what? When I got traded, Paul Mariner told me, I'm sending you to the Heat, I'm sending you to the last place team. And the way Julian de Guzman put it, it seemed that Mariner enjoyed that. Well, Julian de Guzman, he's the one enjoying things now. FC Dallas now just 1 point back of Vancouver, who, as you said, it lost their 5th straight. Now TFC's in the bottom, and Julian de Guzman did not waste time rubbing that one in on Mariner.
FC Dallas coach Schellas Hyndman also having a little statement after the game talking about de Guzman and saying it was a great deal for us because Toronto's paying a lot of his salary. So certainly a good deal for Toronto or for Dallas in that one. Up in Toronto, another struggling result for TFC, a 1-1 draw with Philadelphia. Toronto already out of the playoff races. We haven't heard yet from Paul Mariner any sort of reaction to de Guzman's comments. So stick to MLSsoccer.com to find out what happens in that. Well, aside from Cascadia Cup and the controversy in Dallas, everybody is talking about Thierry Henry's goal against Columbus, the Olympico, straight from the corner into the far post and into the goal. An amazing strike that people around the world are marveling at.
Yeah, just an absolute beauty. And Thierry Henry said he did this on purpose. There's some questions afterwards. People might want to draw their own conclusions, but he came out and said, no, this was on purpose, and this is one of those better goals that I've scored in my career. You hear from the Columbus crew on it. They just kind of threw up their hands. What can you do on that one? Matt Lamson in goal after Andy Grudenbaum hit his face on the post. Guy comes in, you've got Thierry Henry aiming for the back post. Not much you can do. A beauty. New York on Wednesday, another huge game for them, a chance to take over first in the Eastern Conference against Sporting KC.
Well, the Red Bulls actually won 3-1 over Columbus on the weekend, and you mentioned it, Andrew. On Wednesday, they take on Sporting Kansas City at Red Bull Arena. However, that's a 3-1 matchup in the Eastern Conference. The number 2 team in the East, the Chicago Fire, got their second win of the week over the weekend, 3-1 over the Montreal Impact. And Andrew, this is a team that is now coming out and saying we are aiming for first in the Eastern Conference. I don't think many people would have thought that earlier in the season.
No, this is a little bit of a surprise. They started off a little bit slowly, but they've really been building since June, and a lot of that has to do with the new faces that Frank Klopas brought in. You look at that game, those 3 new guys scored the goals, and he said, I expect more and more out of them going forward. On ETR a week or so ago, Klopas didn't come out and say, we're going for the Supporters' Shield, we're going for first place, but Patrick Nyarko did that after this game, and if you're Sporting Kansas City, you've got to watch out.
Yeah, you do. Well, Sporting, of course, at New York on Wednesday. Make sure you check that out. Also, later on MLSsoccer.com, check out the latest edition of Extra Time Radio, our podcast here, and the 24 under 24. It goes into the top 5. Who are going to be the 5 best young players in MLS, as decided by MLSsoccer.com and a special panel of journalists that we have polled. Check it all out on MLSsoccer.com.